Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today is Friday the 13th of June, and I've been wanting to do this garden tour for a little while now, but as usual, same thing every single year I feel, is that my garden is a mess, and I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna do this before, and that, and clean this and that. The fact is that I won't get it cleaned. I won't get it looking good before a while, especially since we are still having pretty cool days. We are having such weird temperatures. Do we always have weird temperatures and we always think it's weird, or it's just weird right now? I don't know. We've been gone for almost 2 weeks, not all in one bunch, but we've had a few things we wanted to go visit elsewhere. So I've been gone a few days here and there, and we've had some really hot streaks and really cold snaps. Not that cold for here, but today might be our last frost date, because we're supposed to have around 3 degrees Celsius tonight, so it might not freeze, but tomorrow is starting to look good, and after that the nights are warm-ish, like over 10 degrees Celsius. So it's beginning. Well, it's beginning, like the weeds did begin a lot, but I mean, I need to get over it. My garden is messy. It will probably be messy for a while, for many years, I mean, because I'm working mostly on expanding, and I think when my layout is going to be done, I won't have to work on building new gardens yet, and I can already see the difference between this year and last year and the year before that in the gardens I already had. So I'm thinking like the next years should be great. So I'm going to turn you guys around and we're gonna have a look at this because for those who do not know, I'm in zone 2. Like I said, our last frost date is probably tonight, but yeah, we have a really short season, so I don't have much to show, but I want to look at this because I always feel so discouraged when I look at my garden because it's weedy, or I don't feel it's growing that much, blah blah blah. So I know in just a week it's going to be different, and I'm going to love to look at it. So first things first, let's look at the entrance. I always loved what I did with my little arch here, but it's always getting super weedy here, and in my ideal world I wanted to like somehow make a little brick wall here that would go up and make a bed, so it could like at the same time make one huge bed and make something aesthetically pleasing there and isolating a part of my greenhouse. But let's get real, I don't do masonry, and we have one guy in the whole region that does masonry, and I'm not going to pay something like $200 an hour to have a guy make a little wall here. So what I did have some many boxes, so I did start to lay them there, and I'm going to finish here eventually. But right now what I'm doing, I'm going to show you where I'm getting my soil, some of my soil, because we can see that I just have some clumps here, but I'm trying to mix a little bit of bagged soil I have, but I'm not that rich to cover all my new spaces with that. So I'm using some soil I have, and slowly but surely I'm planting here some perennials and some annuals. The annuals I did start to plant are some celery. I do have some cabbage and a few flowers here and there, and my mother-in-law did give me some perennials, so I'm just putting some quite randomly, to be honest, here. And I'm seeing that this plant is damaged already. I don't know what's going on with it, but oh well. I did also cover with wood chips all this area, because this gets soaked, completely soaked, as soon as we have some rain. So I wanted to work with that, and I also wanted a nice entrance, and I do think it looks great if we forget like past there. I'm going to explain why there's no more wood chip. There's not wood chips yet over there. Freya, viens. Oh, good, une bonne fille. Ici. Okay. Freya is actually part of some of my problem, because she does like take these kind of crabs everywhere and just like brings there. So I have garbage laying around. So 2 or 3 years ago, I did lay wood chips everywhere here, thinking it would be enough, but clearly it's not, we can see. So I started putting these tarps on the ground, but I'm gonna show you more over there why I'm not covering this yet. You'll see. So in here, I really don't think I'm going to have so much success, but I'm going to take my bricks and like expand this small-ish bed. I would like to have some perennials here that I did plant, but they are struggling. We've had some drought and some massive rain and nothing really constant. So they have been struggling a lot here. I do have some garlic planted everywhere. I am trying this year, I don't know how it's going to go, but I did start with this principle last year to plant like everything everywhere. So I don't have like a cabbage bed or a garlic bed or a carrot bed. I just have everything everywhere. And that because last year I did lose many cabbages to those green little caterpillars, and some onions to pest. I'm thinking, first off, naturally there's not like anywhere in nature that everything is just like rows of one single thing. Even if you don't monocrop, I mean, things are mixed up in nature. So I figured I'm just going to plant to go with the flow. I don't know how it's gonna work, how it's gonna go. I think it's gonna be interesting, but also to prevent pests, and because in practice, not all my spaces, the ones I planned at first for like my cabbages and celeries, are ready at the same time. I am weeding some stuff. There are some spaces that are not done yet, so I'm going with what's ready to be planted in, with what it's already planted. I don't know if I'm clear. So that's where I was. I do have some garlic here, but I think I might have forgotten these there last year, because last year my garlic was in those 2 beds, and I do have some here too, but they did get eaten by pests a lot last year. So I don't know, I'm going to see if they're going to flower or something, and this really needs to be weeded. This is my 2 beds in the front. I'm trying like 1 bed per night to sit with a podcast and weed one. So let's go back in here. So this is 1 bed, as you can see, that it clearly needs my attention. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. This bed is one that I've been working on with a lot, because I don't have the energy and measure. I didn't have that much that much resources to be able to fill all these beds on the first year, all these beds in the first year perfectly. So I did start over there and amend these beds, the 3 beds on the first year, and then the second ones, and a little bit the first ones too. And this year, I did amend these more than the others, all the ones, well, the ones here. And when I plant something, I dig my hole and I put a little bit of compost in it, so my plant does have something to work with while I don't need to amend the whole bed. So I do have many things growing here, and that's the downside of what I'm trying to tell you that I'm doing, is that I did seed a lot of things like lettuces and things like that, but I do want to put tomatoes here because I did build these new trellises sometime this week. I do have some onion bulbs all around these, but I'm not good yet to see what to recognize young seedlings. So I'm pretty sure this is a weed, but I am hesitant in pulling them because I know I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit before weeding because I'm not sure. And I have these incredibly invasive flowers. Maybe you can tell me what it is, but this grows everywhere, and eventually these flowers come up, and they are extremely deep rooted, and I mean, you can see that I have them everywhere. And even this year it's really not that bad. Last year it was just flowers everywhere, and now, as you can see, we need to mow. But these are terrible. But look at the leaves, they are pretty similar. See, this is one, but I have my celery, like, is this one? No, this is not one. They look really similar to my celery, so I usually need to let them grow a little bit. I do have some peas too, and these are, I think, what are these? I know they're flowers that I did plant. I did start. Oh, look at these. These, my friends, are the devil. And they are everywhere, and I am quite lucky because I've seen a few of them, but people in town have them in waves, like they are falling on you. Some roads have signs because there are so many of them, and they just squish, and the road becomes just so slimy that it's getting dangerous. I'm going to have to get rid of these two, but I'm going to come back for them. And but I think I'm going to leave the leaves there because I've heard people say that they are eating their tomato plants, which is a shame. But on this side of my land, like just like over there, there's like, I don't know, something like 40 acres of just like pine trees, and these guys only eat leaves. So as far as I know, the government is spreading some insecticide for these guys, which I don't think is a good thing, but I'm not going to comment on it. But yeah, I don't want them in my yard. So this one here is the main bed where I did plant garlic, and obviously there's more than garlic there. I really need to weed this, and a few more garlics here. I did start planting some celery, and see, my cabbages all get eaten. I do have a pretty big slug problem, even if this year is really not as bad as the past years. Clearly I do have still many of them. I need my chickens to come in here. Ugh. I did add this trellis to it. I'm pretty happy about myself because this is actually a tree that has fallen in my front yard, This tree there was two trees, and the other half did fall, and we have to have this one cut. But I did take some of the branches and put that there. I didn't tie it with anything. And yesterday we had like tornado alerts and things like that, and it held. I just realized that it's pretty sturdy. Freya, viens! 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 This bed... sorry. There's a bug in my mouth. This bed is another one that I worked hard on. I did plant some peas between this, but this is Crosne. I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry. Crosne. And it seems to be something that could be invasive, because I did plant a few here last year and see it's starting to take over, which is not a bad thing, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. See? This is what Crosne looks like. This is, I think it's native, but it's really tasty. It's some sort of little bulb. My focus it's just so bad. There we go. So I do have my focus right now. I'm going to show you these caterpillars like that. But this is like the Crosne, and it's I can't remember exactly what it tastes, but there's just tons and tons of little bulbs like these that just grows, and you like roast them, and it's pretty tasty. So I'm pretty happy about that, because when they come the store, the online store where I buy them, when they are available, they're like there for 30 minutes. So I put my hands on them, and now I'm done. I'm fine with what I have. So this bed, in these ones, I do have all these. These are the worst. I don't know how they're called in English, but it's French. In French, it's the chardon. I did plant everywhere. I can't remember it all, so it's all going to be a surprise. And I know I did sow some cucumber seeds, a ton of black beans, all throughout all these trellises. Sometimes I have these weeds that I don't know if they're really bad or not, but I'm going to pull them out eventually. So I have a volunteer sunflower here. I did sow sunflowers everywhere too, and the thing is, if you've been following me for a while, you might have started to realize that I'm not super confident, and in my garden, I mean, I don't know why. Each year, but I think it's pretty common, each year I'm planting things and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work. I mean, how can this work? It's going to fail, of course. So I did start over 500 tomato plants this year. Don't ask me why. Well, you can ask me why. I was happy to sow tomatoes, but now I have so many leggy plants, whatever. I'm not that confident each year, so I just sow and sow, and especially in my climate, I see all y'all's gardens, either be it on Facebook or other YouTubers or whatever, and all the gardens are like, oh, it's summer. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have that much done. And even in my area, like, unless it's specific to my region, because my region is north of my province, and even like people in my province are starting to have like pretty nice garden actually. So I'm growing like self-conscious that is my garden going to be good, and I do have this visit coming up in August, at the end of August, so I mean I have to have like a beautiful garden. I mean I can't like not have one. So I just sow and come back and sow, because like there's nothing, so I just sow again. And I know that in my head it's going to be like eventually, like next week or in the next 2 weeks, things are going to start to grow pretty well, and we'll see how it goes. So just to give you an idea of where we are, the entrance is there, and we've seen all these beds so far. But I'm not going to like explain to you each and every one is because it's going to be long. But here I did start some tomato plants because, like I said, I did plant over 500. I did give a lot away, but I did decide that I would start to plant some. Why not? I mean, worst case scenario, they die, and I plant some more. So here I have some celery and other things that I'm not sure if they're weeds or things I've sown or volunteers. These are onions that I left there last year that they're gonna go to seed. They're starting to flower, and I do have a ton here too. Last year this bed was full of onions that flowered and it was beautiful, so I figured why not. But I did put some more things in here. I do have some peas growing and tomatoes and things like that. This bed has been my favorite for the first year and last year too. It's always been proficient, so I think I did plant some carrots here, but I can't see anything. But like I said, my last frost is supposed to be tomorrow, so tomorrow night I'm probably going to plant a ton here. This seems to be a volunteer of something. I mean, usually when it's that dense, it is like something that it is volunteers of something specific, but I don't know what it is. I did think it did look maybe like basil, but doesn't smell like it at all. I'm going to let it grow a little bit and see. And nothing much on this side too. I do have some flowers and things like that. I'm not going to repeat myself with this and this one too. And these are also some garlic I did plant here. Garlic, yeah. Last year they are all hard neck. I don't think I can grow soft necked here. And same thing here. But this part of the garden should be my main focus because it's my oldest one. It's the one already established, so I'm really talking to myself each night to go and weed one bed, but it's really not where I want to focus because this is the area I want to focus on. But I'm thinking that it's going to be a lot better to visit a garden where this is established and looking great and have a great harvest too, than everything half-assed. And I mean, I can explain to people that this is something, a work in progress, but I think it's going to look great. It was looking better like a week ago when these plants didn't grow yet, but let's get into it. This bed is not doing anything yet, but this one, like all the other ones, I did plant a ton of things with flowers, and I think it's going to look great. We did have this huge windstorm yesterday with hail and everything. It was pretty big. So this is my garden stock that I did build it up because I wanted to look how it was looking, but without being filled, clearly it didn't stand a chance. This part here needs to be weeded too, but I want this to be like full of perennials. Clearly it's the case. Not necessarily perennials I want, but it's starting to grow. I would like to have some sort of cottage garden feel in my garden. So yeah, when this is going to be weeded, and this part too, it's going to look great. These are blackberries here, blackberry bushes. Oh, I mean, I swear they are everywhere. They are terrible, these plants. But I mean, I have to live with it. It's already not as bad as last year, so I need to get over it. These, I need to weed this, not weed, but like come with my weed eater and put some cardboard, which things I've done on the other side, on other spots. Here I have my blueberries that are looking to have like a pretty decent harvest for like the second year. But let's go from the inside. I have the, I mean, I think people call this the herb spiral, but it's not herb spiral, it's just a spiral. Last year I loved how it looked with, it was with strawberries and, is it calendulas? I always mix up, oh, look at this. Look at this. No, thank you. Ah, it's full of slugs. Look, it's in my tower and they still managed to get there. What the hell? Where is that caterpillar? The reason why my strawberries are all elevated like that is because of the slugs. So yeah, look at these. You know what this is? I always forget the name. You know, they make like these big puffs of flowers, and this is what I have between my, this is what I had, this is what I plan to do this year between all my strawberry plants. And I did take all the runners and put them in this stock, and I plan to do exactly the same thing with this one and this one, but this one I'm going to move over there. I want to like march into my garden and see like these like like colors and flowers and things like that everywhere. Right now it's just weeds, but okay. I do have this rose bush that I planted and I didn't think it survived, but I'm seeing that it did. So I need to put some trellis of some sort over here, which was my plan. I did start these little pathways, but I did show you guys this already. So here's my reflection with my tarp, because last year I did lay tarp. Oh, so many mosquitoes. I did lay tarp everywhere, here and there and there and here and here, and look how it's looking. Look at how it's looking. But look here and here and here. So my feeling is that when I lay the tarps and cover them immediately, the weeds under it don't have time to die, but they do when I leave them like this. So I'm trying to lay the tarps and leave them as it for a few weeks, because I mean, nothing. This has been there for as long as this, but this is already full of weeds. So I'm trying to see if I leave the tarps like that, and in a few weeks, maybe midsummer, I'm going to cover this with rocks, because look, even here, I feel that they could not burn between the rocks. So that's my theory, but I'm not like a scientist or whatever. My intention in here is really to make like some horticulture, and this is what I started. I need to put some soil. Oh my gosh, there's so many bugs. To put soil over this, but I'm trying to chill out and relax and like one thing at a time, because I do need to weed things here too. I do have some good asparagus stalks here that I'm not touching. I have 3 of them here. I'm not touching them this year because it's their second year. But I do have some smaller bushes. Again. That are growing, but I'm working really on putting back some cardboard. But so many things to do. I mean, I could do this 40 hours a week, but I can only manage like 1 or 2 hours per day maybe. These are some new additions for this year. And here I wanted to make a bed with these logs, like make some contour with the logs, but I don't think it's something I'm going to have time to do this summer. I need to see how I'm going to work with that. This is the result I want to have like here and there, and every almost second row. This is really what I want. I did plant tomatoes and celery here next to my blueberries here that are looking great too. Well, great-ish. But maybe you can see the pattern, and I want to have some things grow high because I don't want to see everything. And this is where it gets really messy because, like I said, see this patch here? I did take a bag of soil, like an empty bag of soil, and put it here when the weeds started to come out, thinking that I'm going to test, is it really the plastic, or plants really can grow through plastic? And clearly they can't, because this is not part of it. So, so much work. And this is the beginning of my maze with the horticulture in mind. This is the small tree there. I'm going to pass the weed eater sometime this weekend. But we have a cherry tree here, and another one on the other side. I have some mini mounds like that started. This one, I think I can say is pretty completed, but I'm really trying to think on the long term here, that this is going to be better next year and better. And see, the other side is really when I sort of gave up, not on doing it, but on rushing it for this year. That's where I realized I did borrow my in-laws side by side, and it was so much faster, but this took me a whole day, and I was exhausted because I had to dig the soil. I'm gonna show you where. So I mean, because what I want to do is this on the same thing here, but like complete here, and this here all the way and all around. So I mean, when I imagined this, I mean, I still feel that we get the feeling with the weeds a little bit, but when I did imagine this, I was brand new to gardening, and I would still want to do this, but I did not even realize a little bit how much work that would be. And this is supposed to mirror the other side. So this is pretty much it. It's getting really cold, and really there's so many mosquitoes, but I don't know, I try to give the best views and the best shots I can, like in the moment. Oh yeah, I did plant all the way on the side here trees and small shrubs in order to make some sort of a wall, but I feel that I can't show you on camera. When I film it, I'm like, yeah, it's obvious what I'm doing, but when I go to edit it, I'm like, oh, we can't really see. So let's have a shot from here. And this is what I wanted to show you, where I'm taking my soil. I have this food forest here, but I mean, it's just, I'm just letting things grow. But my land, you've seen how wet it gets. So I figured in the back of the land, there's just a dip. So I started to dig this trench all the way. It's been so much work, but it's been really satisfying because you can see that it does work. The soil really gets less soaked, and it's really a pleasure for Freya to run in it. So still a lot of work, but also a lot of weeds that I'm bringing to my garden, but that's the way it is. And I'm not done because it's stopped there, but I want to continue it. So I'm going to leave you guys here because I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes and I'm going crazy. So Oh yeah, one last thing. I did buy these rose bushes. Small roses. I did have a flower already, but I did take it off. So it grows because I dream of having flowers growing on this. They're for zone 3, so we're gonna see how it goes. So thanks for hanging out with me, and see you next time. Bye.